My guest today has a prediction that's going to make a lot of people mad. He says Zillow is melting ice cubes and that in 5 years it won't be selling ads to agents anymore. It'll be one of the biggest brokerages in the country competing directly against you. So we're getting into that, plus the housing bill sitting on the president's desk right now that almost nobody in real estate is talking about, and where an agent still adds real value when AI can already find the perfect home. That's today. Stay tuned. This episode of Keeping It Real is brought to you by Real Geeks. How many homes are you going to sell this year? Do you have the right tools? Is your website turning soft leads into interested buyers? Are you spending money on leads that aren't converting? Well, Real Geeks is your solution. Find out why agents across the country choose Real Geeks as their technology partner. Real Geeks was created by an agent for agents. They pride themselves on delivering a sales and marketing solution so that you can easily generate more business. Their agent websites are fast and built for lead conversion with a smooth search experience for your visitors. Real Geeks also includes an easy-to-use agent CRM. So once a lead signs up on your website, you can track their interest and have great follow-up conversations. Real Geeks is loaded with a ton of marketing tools to nurture your leads and increase brand awareness. Visit realgeeks.com/keepingitrealpod and find out why realtors come to Real Geeks to generate more business. Again, visit realgeeks.com/keepingitrealpod. And now, onto our show. Today's episode is brought to you by Corded.io. Are you looking for agents to join your brokerage or team? Now, as a real estate recruiter, I can tell you the answer is always yes. But most agents aren't looking to move right now. So how do you know who to contact? Well, what if I were to tell you there's a recruiting and retention tool powered by artificial intelligence that shows you exactly which agents in your local market are looking to leave their brokerage right now, and which agents at your own firm are also looking to leave you? Now, I've been recruiting realtors for 15 years and I've hired over 2,000 agents. I can tell you with no exaggeration, this is the tool I've been waiting for. Corded's AI looks for trends across dozens of variables for each agent in your market and shows you which agents they believe are likely to move. Not only does it do that, but Corded's AI went and visited my recruiting website and read everything I offer. So now when I'm recruiting, Corded's AI tells me exactly what to say based on that agent's needs and what my brokerage can offer. It even writes emails for me. I've never seen anything like it, and I use it every single day. Now, if you are looking to grow your brokerage, Corded.io is the best tool out there. Visit Corded.io to schedule a demo. Again, that's Corded.io. And now, onto the show. Welcome to Keeping It Real, the largest podcast made by real estate agents and for real estate agents. My name is DJ Paris. I am your guide and host through the show. And today is our series called Unpopular Real Estate Opinions with Chris Linsell. And if you are new to the show, I want to tell you more about Chris and what he is all about. Bear with me just a second. I just lost my notes. Chris, I apologize.
No problem.
Something just happened. That is weird. Okay, hang on one second. I have to reboot, guys.
Yep.
There we go. Okay. All right. We will try that. Well, not a take two, but we will continue on. So Chris Linsell, let's talk about him. He has spent more than a decade inside the real estate industry, working as an agent, a team member, a senior strategist, and a content leader, every role in between. Some of the most influential companies in the real estate space, including The Close, Elm Street Technology, and Luxury Presence. Today, he serves as the CMO, Chief Marketing Officer of the Mitten Group, a Michigan-based brokerage where he leads brand strategy and agent development. He's a two-time Inman Marketing All-Star, a member of the SoFi Real Estate Advisory Council, and one of the more consistent voices writing and speaking about AI and the future of how agents build their business. He publishes a weekly newsletter called The Bottom Line, writes at chrislinsell.com. He's based in Traverse City, Michigan, and you should follow him on Instagram, which is ask_Chris_Linsell, Linsell. Link to all of his social and his website on the show notes. Chris, welcome back.
DJ.
Welcome back.
We're here. We're doing it. Great to talk to you. Excited to chop it up. A lot happening in real estate and technology right now. I got some hot takes that are making people mad everywhere I go. So let's see if we can get the audience simmering a little bit and make them think a little bit more about what we're talking about today.
I have asked the AI gods for
Mm.
what should a certain percentage of the audience be sort of inflamed or at least disagreeable with some of the things that we talk about, and they said actually in a really healthy discourse it should be about 30% say no, these guys don't know what they're talking about. So I'm excited to get into it. We're not here just to stir controversy, but really to have conversations that aren't being
Mhm.
had elsewhere in the real estate space for realtors so that they can actually take this information, apply it into their business, and move forward. There's a lot going on right now. So where do you want to start?
Well, if we want to get some people stirred up and feeling a little antsy, let's start with politics,
Oh boy.
because there is an important thing that is happening right now that I feel like all the real estate agents I talk to, I would say like 1 in 10 are really dialed into what's going on, and no more than like 3 in 10 are like fully aware of what's happening. So the big news that I think we should kick off on is this housing bill that has passed both sides of Congress, and is currently stalled. It has not been put into law yet because President Trump has essentially refused to sign it until Congress addresses some of his other non-housing bill related activities. And frankly, this is a big deal to real estate professionals. It's a big deal to our country just at large, and it is very unconventional, very uncommon for for a bill that is passed with incredible bipartisan support to be stalled and not put into place because of other political priorities. So I'd love to start there.
Let's talk about it's called the 21st Century Road to Housing Act. This is
Mhm,
the big news of the day, and it did pass the House, bipartisan, as you said, support. This is not uh, a ideological bill. This is something that
mhm,
is seen by both sides as good for the country. What it basically aims to do, my best understanding, is
mhm.
build more houses. But
Yeah.
in addition to that, also banning some of the large private equity companies that come in, the investors, the Black Rocks, I'm not naming them specifically, but that's the
Mhm,
one that comes to mind, coming in and acquiring all of the properties in a particular area where
mhm,
mom and pop who want to have an investment property now can't compete
mhm,
because BlackRock's in town. Basically putting some brakes on these bigger companies to come in and let smaller investors and developers build more
mhm.
stuff.
Yeah, yeah. Two things that I want to call out here that I think are really important. The first is what you just named. I think is really it's really good content, especially for kind of broad strokes in the headlines of newspapers like the New York Times, that it bans investors from controlling a certain percentage of inventory, and that's great. That's important. But what is more important, in my opinion, is that the most valuable part of this bill is that it streamlines significantly the review timeline and process for environmental review for construction and development projects. If anybody here listening has ever built a house or been a part of building new or selling new construction, you know that the environmental review, like audit and timeline and process, not only is it insanely expensive and timely and frustrating, it is a discourager to building new inventory. We are living in an inventory starved real estate world right now, and this is a major roadblock to creating more of this inventory. So the fact that the 21st Century Road Act took it specifically as an issue to streamline and speed this up, is going to have an immediate effect in adding more inventory cheaper into our markets right now. So this isn't something that like will have an effect. It will have an effect, excuse me, 6 months, 6 years, 60 years down the road. It'll have an effect 6 months, like 6 weeks from now. We will have positive effects on this. So the longer this bill sits on the sideline, the less of the busy season we have to take advantage of it. It just seems like such a waste of an opportunity.
So right now it's on Trump's desk. He's got basically three options, right? He can veto it, he can approve it, or he can do nothing. If he does nothing, it becomes law. If he vetoes it, I guess it kicks back down,
Mhm.
or he approves it. And
Yeah.
I don't know beyond this particular bill what he's aiming for, but he has said about this specific bill, kind of a meh, not that interested. Doesn't seem
Yeah.
to think that this is very important.
Yeah, and frankly, like I want to try to keep my own political views out of this conversation. But that's a bullshit response because anybody who says that housing is not important to the leaders of our country, it doesn't have to worry about where they're living, and it drives me. I'm trying not to say the bad words here. It drives me absolutely insane that somebody wouldn't prioritize housing as the number one policy priority for anybody who is leading a community, a state, a country. Listen, there is. So, I want to pull up the numbers here. I've got it right in front of me. Home prices in the United States since the pandemic are up 50%. Rents are up 30%, and in some places it's much higher. Like these are averages here. Large institutional investors, meaning entities that hold something like 1,000 or more
Mhm.
homes, control 500,000 properties combined across the country. Now, granted, 500,000 only makes up something like a third of 1% of the total stock, but that is an outsized percentage in places where housing stock is especially short. Like where you really need affordable workforce housing is where that level of inventory is concentrated. So a bill that aims to address that specific problem is not a 6 months, 6 years sort of need. It's a today need. Additionally, this bill also creates this innovation fund that rewards cities and communities for cutting permitting and zoning friction. It creates this 1/5 of $1 billion worth of resources that rewards communities to make it easier for them to build new houses. And the bill specifically does not touch local zoning. It says local communities should be in control of their own zoning. As much as local communities make absolutely whacked out decisions sometimes, it's not the federal government's decision or purpose or place to make those decisions for those communities, but it's incentivizing those communities so that they can make smart decisions for their overall trajectory and the housing needs of their communities, not just the people who are stuck in their NIMBYist attitudes and not wanting to actually create things that power the next generation of support and supply in their communities. This is like, it's just such a no-brainer that this bill gets signed yesterday. And the fact that it is not only is it being sloughed off and not prioritized, that a president would look at it and say, this is not a big deal. I mean, I don't know about you, but I got a lot of people on my call sheet for whom housing is a significantly big deal. And it's not just because I'm a real estate agent. I got family and friends and coworkers and community members who are genuinely looking for a place to live and they can't find it. Why aren't we fixing this?
Yeah, this I think is a great opportunity for the National Association of Realtors to communicate effectively to us. What are they doing to help get this bill passed?
Oh my
Um,
God.
I do have some communication with senior leadership over there. I I don't know why it didn't occur to me. I am going to ask them myself. So if you have relationships with people in associations, this is a great question to ask. Hey, if inventory is short in your market, I'm sure it is. It certainly is here in Chicago. This is, a potential solution, and we're not sure what's going to happen with it. He's got another week or so before he has to make Trump has to make a decision. So we will see what happens. But exciting, hopeful news. I'm always try to hold on to
Yeah.
hope that the this will happen. This would be
Hmm.
great for the industry, great for
Yeah.
developers, great for the economy, and we'll see.
Yeah.
Let's switch. Let's talk about another topic.
Hmm.
Portals. So I've been really thinking about this a lot, and it was funny. I was talking to Chris beforehand about this, and and I thought I had gone pretty deep into where I believe portals being places where consumers can go and basically shop for homes. These are places like brands like Zillow, Trulia, Realtor.com. Those are the ones that come to mind. And what is the future of these particular brands? And when we say, well, what do you mean? Well, if you've noticed, I don't know about Chris, I don't know about your search behavior or your way you interact with your phone or your computer, but I have, prior to AI, I was going to Google and I was typing in long form sort of key phrases for things I was looking for. Sometimes I type in a full sentence. Google might even auto complete the sentence for me, which was really cool. Now I'm mostly going to my AI of choice and saying, can you do a deep research on X topic and bring me back good information? Now, I am putting a tremendous amount of faith in AI that it's going to do a better job than I can. I don't know that it does or it can, but it's easier. So I am doing that. I suspect we are all headed in that direction. We will all be uh, talking to our devices and telling it what we need, as opposed to, hey, let's go on Zillow and browse. I don't know that that's what the behavior will transition to, but I'm curious to get your thoughts on where you think portals are headed.
Yeah. So, in short, I think that the Zillow model of operation is riding off into the sunset. Actually, riding off into the sunset suggests that it's going there voluntarily. If I had to bet 5 years from now, if Zillow is still around, their business will look very different than what it looks right now. And the primary reason is as follows. Right now, Zillow is a destination for anybody who is looking for anything real estate related. If I have a question about homes for sale in my area, most people's default behavior is to go to Zillow and browse. That default behavior is changing. In the same way that our default behavior changed when Google came on the scene. It used to be that when we had a question about something on the internet, we didn't know really where to go because the internet wasn't really organized very well. Maybe you would go to AOL search, but there really wasn't a single place to get your questions answered. When Google came along, it became the serve all place to get your questions answered, or at least not get your questions answered, but to provide you with the places that could answer your questions. Zillow took a cue from that and they said, okay, we're not going to answer all the questions. We're just going to answer the questions about people who are looking for homes for sale in their area. Well, a new technology has emerged that is allowing people to ask all sorts of questions again. AI is the new Google in terms of the way they are disrupting the way that we as people are consuming answers to our questions. No longer are we going to individual places like Zillow to ask our questions. We're going to Google now, an AI portal, to ask our questions. And we are getting an answer from that single source rather than going to each of the individual sources. Zillow's bread and honey is when consumers come to their site to ask questions and then they get connected to a real estate professional for a fee. And the fee structures vary as many as flowers as there are in the field here. But that's how Google makes money, is by connecting consumers with professionals. Well, if consumers are not going to Zillow for their questions any longer, the entire business model breaks. So, will they be here in 5 years? It's a great question. If they are, I don't think their business will look like it does right now.
Yeah, I agree. I remember I was at a Zillow conference probably 4 years ago, and they were talking about the Zillow ecosystem, which at
Mhm.
that time, all the tech companies that were consumer facing were trying to get you in. They were trying to be an all-in-one. So Zillow wanted to be an all-in-one real estate solution, whether it's loans or even building homes or any part of the home buying and selling process. They had a solution for. And the idea was that once you're in their ecosystem, you'll use their services and products. And they had a pretty decent run for the last couple of years implementing some of those. And now Chris is really put his finger on something. We're not going to other people's ecosystems as much. We are going into, well, we're going into an ecosystem, but not that one. We're going into our AI of choice. And we are now talking to it the way people converse with each other. And we are literally, it is the Oracle at Delphi. We are asking it questions, and
Mm,
it is coming back to us with answers in the way that is tailored for us individually.
mhm,
So Zillow is a wonderful service that will have to figure out how do we serve up what makes us special is our search experience. While the search experience on Zillow is bar none the best there is, there just isn't a better option, and so that's why they're so successful. Yet, I don't think people are going to be going to Zillow.com to search for homes. I'll tell you a really quick story. I had a friend of mine. He's a Compass agent, and he reached out to NHL player, I believe, a hockey player who had just been traded into the Chicago Blackhawks. And I might have the wrong sport. Maybe it wasn't that, but I think it was. And he saw that he had been traded in, and just for fun, he sent him an Instagram direct message. Congratulations. Hey, by the way, I guess you're moving to Chicago. You probably need a realtor. I would love to help you figure out. He's like 20 years old, figure out what to do. Sure enough, kid wrote back like, I actually do. And I'm going to spend, $5,000 a month. And he was just going to rent a place or whatever. So my friend said, I want to see how good AI is right now, for
mhm,
fun. He took all the information that this hockey player who had never been to Chicago, mind you,
mhm,
didn't know where he wanted to live, didn't know the neighborhoods, didn't know what the inventory, didn't know the pricing. But he said, well, just tell me what you want, and he started telling him, but what's your budget? Okay. So he put all this into Claude or whatever AI, and it said, come back with me. This is a 20-year-old hockey player. This is what he's into, his interests, these are hobbies. This is what his demographics are, and his subjective stuff. And came back with, he said, bring me the best couple of options you can, and I'll present them to my client. And it gave him one option, and he, some condo or to rent
mhm.
somewhere, and he presented it to the hockey player, and he said, oh my God, that's exactly what I was looking for. And
Mm.
he said that is I mean, I don't know, troubling isn't maybe the right word, but that is amazing.
Mhm,
And he said, this is where we're at.
mhm.
We are there right now. So right now, people can start doing things like this, whether you're an agent or not. And this is something where Zillow is going to have to pivot and figure out how do we still stay in the
Yeah.
conversation. I don't know how it is. Is it through advertising, through AI? Is it through please use our data, not the MLS's data? Or I'm not sure.
Yeah, well, I want to respond to that because you surfaced a lot of really interesting ideas that I think are important to double click on. First of all, I was talking about the threat to Zillow being on the horizon right now, like as consumer behavior changes and we go to different places to get the answers to our questions. That's a fundamental threat to Zillow's business, but that's up the road a little ways here. There are raiders right outside of the gate right now of Zillow's castle, and it is places like Compass, and other entities that are refusing to allow Zillow to have a monopoly on the use of the data that is publicly available to everyone. So let's think about for a second, what is Zillow's main value proposition? I would say that they have created the best way to search through and aggregate all of the data that belongs to everyone else. Zillow's data is important and interesting, but their data is based on the consumer experience, not on the inventory. Zillow does not own the inventory data. They have rented the data from everyone else. And that rental of the data is a fundamental flaw. It is a vulnerability in their business. And we're seeing that play out as Compass continues to badger and push Zillow around through the use of removing some of their data from that ecosystem and saying, you know what? We own these listings. And in fact, if you have ever run in brokerage operations, you know that agents don't actually own their listings. The brokerage has their listings. The brokerage is the one who has eminent control over that data. We simply agree to release it to places like MLSs and to these cooperative experiences that have then themselves agreed to release and license that data to third-party places like Zillow. So Zillow's castle is built on sand here, not on bedrock. It is this fundamental idea that they are the best one at organizing and creating this search experience based on data that they are renting from somebody else. And we are seeing a fundamental threat to that business as businesses like Compass come in and say, no, actually, we're not going to share with you all of the data for the listings that we own. We're creating our own ecosystem. And we think it is better for the market that people can come to multiple places to get access to these listings rather than one centralized location like the one that you have created. Zillow isn't a national MLS. It's not a utility that's created for the benefit of all consumers. It's a company whose primary purpose is creating value for their shareholders, for the owners of the company. This whole problem gets solved if we have a national MLS that is sponsored by and operated by the government, whose whole purpose is service rather than profit generation. But that's not the world that we live in. So we think to ourselves then, this is why I'm so convicted that Zillow, if they exist in 5 years, that their business model will look completely different, because they don't own the data that is powering the value of their business. So they have to get value other places. They don't own consumer behavior because AI is disrupting that. So the value that they bring to the table of their business, saying that our business is worth umpteen $billion because we own the place where search is happening about real estate. Well, that's changing. That is fundamentally changing as AI disrupts consumer behavior. And that actually leads into another thing that I want to talk about, which is another fundamental disruption in the way that consumer behavior, we understand consumer behavior, which is the introduction of listing ads from Google, where we are removing another layer of algorithmic delivery. No longer are people having to click through to Zillow to get listing information. Google's displaying the information straight on a search results page. So I want to dig into that a little bit, but from my take here, Zillow is a melting ice cube. There are 100 different reasons why this business model doesn't work in 5 years. Now, that's not to say that I don't think that Zillow doesn't have an opportunity to be successful. I just think that if their business is here in 5 years, it will look completely different.
Yeah, I think what they know better than anyone is the online web shopping experience. They understand that for homes, and they are the Amazon of home buying. And if they can somehow take all of the the IP that they've figured out from that and using it to, somehow with our new AI, uh, you know, um, uh, it's going to be very interesting to see if they can implement some of that knowledge into some of these new practices. I don't know. It's very interesting.
Mhm.
You brought up a really good point. Is they rent, the inventory. They rent
Mhm.
inventory, and of course, inventory can be taken. Compass and Zillow are in court right
Mhm.
now today in Chicago,
Mhm.
battling it out for this exact type
Yeah.
of situation.
Now,
So it
with that being said, let me give you one controversial take that it's actually not that controversial because they already do this. But here's what I think Zillow will be in 5 years. I don't think Zillow will be in the business of selling advertising. I think Zillow will be, without a doubt, one of the top five brokerages in the country.
absolutely,
I
I
think
totally
I
concur.
think Zillow is going to move away from providing advertising services for real estate professionals and move toward providing real estate services for consumers. Because who do they know better than anyone else? Where is their moat in terms of what they have separation from all of their competitors? And it is understanding the behaviors of people who are looking to buy a home. And all of a sudden, if you make your business about servicing those people, you get an incredible lift because nobody knows that total addressable market better than you do, and you have access to more historical shopping data than anybody. I mean, I guarantee you, Zillow is sitting on a literal data lake full of information about what it takes to get the right property in front of the right person at the right time. They are going to take that knowledge and start servicing clients in a way that we have never seen before. And if Zillow is not a brokerage in 5 years, I'm eating my hat. I mean, I think that is just inevitable for them, and they're going to
I
be incredibly difficult to compete with.
100% agree. They are probably right now with their Zillow Flex program, which is the leads they provide to other, other brokerages for a taste of the back end. Eventually, they will just pull those agents in house. They will be Zillow agents, and they will be a brokerage. Zillow, Compass, maybe those will be the two big brands going
Mhm.
forward. So
Now,
it's
what do you think that means then? Let me give you this. If there are two, let's say that there are three big brands. I'm going to give this is my prediction for in 5 years. There's going to be three big brands in real estate. It's going to be Zillow, it's going to be Compass, and it's going to be a yet to be determined virtual brokerage, like a version of like if Real and EXP and I can't think of the third off the top of my head, but like if like a version of Real and
LPT.
EXP, yeah, like if those got together and made some sort of super brokerage that
Yeah.
is structured to be a completely online virtual experience with zero brick and mortar anywhere. Those are going to be the three big players in real estate 5 years from now. Does that mean that all of the industry consolidates into those three places, or does it become the moment for indie brokerages to be able to say like, yeah, we've got 50 agents, and that's the one of the best things we have going for us is that we're not part of this big nameless faceless machine. We have people working here who really know their community, who really know their clients on a street level. This is not corporate America, this is not Wall Street, this is Main Street, and most
Yeah.
people live on Main Street. Like, is this the indie brokerage moment?
It is, however, so I work at an indie brokerage, you work at an indie brokerage as well.
Mhm.
And so we have our own particular opinions and takes, but here's the thing is that the Wall Street is trying to control inventory. So
Mhm.
Wall Street is trying to get access, uh, control access to inventory in particular. This is what Compass is doing. It's not uh, too difficult to see. They, acquired what almost 20% of all of the real estate agents in the
Mhm.
country as of
Mhm.
today, and they want to bring listings in house. They want to say, "Hey, we have an exclusive network of brands, and we basically." because they know whoever controls inventory controls the market essentially. And so they are wanting to build a walled garden with their own inventory, which for independents might pose a huge challenge because they might not let us in to see the inventory before their own agents get access. So, is it a moment for independents to rise up? Yes. And to pay really close attention to what Compass is doing to see how are they going to are they going to play nice with independents? I don't know.
Yeah, it's wild. It is a wild time, and it is. I can confidently say, um, the future has never been more uncertain in terms of what's actually going to happen. But I tell you what, like I got the popcorn ready because it is going to be
It's
a crazy ride.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, for everyone listening, experience is still the trump card that
Without a
seems
doubt.
it's the slow and steady wins the race. If you know your market, if you know what happens when and how, and you've studied it and you've lived it and gone through it, you are valuable. That is
Mhm.
still something that AI struggles to solve for. We're
Mhm.
talking about boots on the ground experience. If
Mhm.
you have boots on the ground experience, you are valuable. If you are somebody who wants to make your hyper local community better, if you want
Yeah,
to beautify your local community, there's value in that.
totally.
Supporting local businesses, knowing just how the infrastructure works and how to
Mhm.
help these businesses thrive. And if you can get into that headspace, you will be valuable to your community. And you don't need to be valuable to the entire country. You need to be valuable to the people closest to you geographically.
Yeah, yeah, that's the truth. That's the truth. And ultimately, and I tell agents this every single day at the Mitten Group is uh, the most important thing, your biggest priority for building a real estate business is to figure out who you are, who you want to serve, and which communities you want to be a part of. Those are the three things. If you can nail those things are like nail those things down. Who am I? What do I do? What's important to me? What are the things that I do better than anyone else? Who do I want to serve? What are the clients that I'm looking to create value in their life? What am I looking to make easier? Who am I looking to make things easier for? And where am I creating value? What are the communities that I'm actively working within to create value for the consumers that I'm targeting? If you know those three things, then everything else falls into place behind it. You don't care. I mean, of course, you care like a human being, but you don't care about what's happening outside of communities that you don't service. Of course, you care as a person who wants other places to be successful, but if they're not your target consumer, whether or not they are successful from a real estate perspective is immaterial to the success of your business. If you are thinking about things that are not a priority or a speciality for you, you don't really care about what other people are doing there because you're not competing with those people. Real estate is an incredibly dynamic business that allows us to really create a choose your own adventure path to prosperity and success and opportunity. You don't have to follow the path that any other agent does, or there is even an opportunity for you to create a brand new path that nobody has followed before because of a unique combination of those three things: who you are, who you serve, where you work. Those three things allow you to create a perfect plan, a one of one. All you have to do is be committed to those three things and figure out what it does, what mechanisms allow you to tell your story, connect with the people that you're trying to serve, and be a part of the communities you want to work in. That's it. It's actually a pretty simple formula. The execution, yeah, there's some challenge in there, and we can go down rabbit holes on that. But at the end of the day, you are not competing with agents in Malibu, California, and Omaha, Nebraska, and Baton Rouge, Louisiana. You are only competing for market share in the communities where you're targeting. So don't worry about what everyone else is doing. Focus on those three things, and I guarantee you, you'll be able to build the business that you want.
I was just talking to one of the biggest agents in the country. Her name's Valerie Fitzgerald. She was on Selling LA for many seasons. She went to LA as a struggling young mom, no money, no real estate experience, prospects, and she's built this incredible business. And I was asking her about what is she doing right now? What does she see? She's got this big brand to protect and to grow. And what was so interesting is I asked her, what are you doing on social these days? Because I was just curious, and what's working for you? Because she has big social following. And she said, well, and this ties to what you had just said. She said, I'm doing away with all of the just listed and just sold
Mm,
posts and the bragging. She goes, I've learned and I have data to now support this, that the consumers don't want that. What
mm,
Meaning her clients don't want to see that she sold a $30 million home. I mean, it's cool, it's interesting, I guess, but she said that's not really what they want. They want me solving problems for them. So she said we have completely shifted our social media strategy into what you were saying, those three questions. um, I am a problem solver. Here's what I do for people, and creating content specifically around solution.
mm,
And that, she says, number one, it's fun to do. Number two, it's actually helpful to people. And number
mm.
three, it's what they want. So
Yeah.
this is the playbook, people. If you are wanting to build your brand, a hyper local brand, or even a larger non-hyper local brand, you have to solve problems. And that
Yeah.
is what social media allows for, is for you to tell your story. Sorry, not tell your story, to forget about your story. Nobody cares about your story. To address the problems of the people that are scrolling on their phones. If you
Mhm.
can get them to stop because you speak directly to them, I can help you, I can solve this problem for you. You will be absolutely needed.
Yeah, 100%, without a doubt. We are. It is a farce to think that people are stopping because they want to hear your story. No, they want
No.
to hear the solutions to their problems. If you have generated a unique, novel solution to a problem they can't solve, you have their attention. Otherwise, you are just noise.
Agreed. Okay, let's talk. Let's pivot again to talking about. I want to go back to AI in a sense.
Hmm.
What
Yeah.
we think, because look, we talk about this a lot, and we say, okay, I just gave the example of the NHL player who could have ultimately done this on his own, and
Hmm.
soon will be able to, without much prompting, be able to find the perfect property for your particular needs, and you're going to be able to do that. AI is going to solve for that. So i don't I don't think picking and choosing properties is where realtors are going to be very shortly, because AI is going to figure that part of it out. Where does the agent still add value?
Mm.
Or do you
Well, there's a
disagree
couple.
with me?
Yeah, I think that. Well, I think two things are important for this conversation. The first is, um, right now I think that. Well, okay, let's take a step back and frame a definition of what AI is, because it's helpful for this conversation. AI, as we understand it right now, the I in AI, intelligence, I think is actually kind of a misnomer, because these models, AI, LLMs, are not smart. They're just incredibly resourceful.
Yep.
AI is not generating a novel idea based on a question that you've asked. It is just the most advanced, incredible, miraculous technology for examining the corpus of data that has come before and making a prediction about what the most likely answer to the question is based on what we've already heard. So when I ask you what you think the best neighborhood in Chicago is, Your response is going to be based not just on the data that you have in your head, but on your personal experience. And it's going to create, and your response is also going to be creative in the sense that you have a novel, unique perspective through literally through your own eyes that nobody else has and that cannot be replicated because you are the only one of you walking around. AI,
Yeah.
as we understand it, is not that. AI is simply a consolidation of all of the responses to questions similar to the one being asked and creating an answer that is approximated to the best of the model's ability to be the most likely to be correct based on the correct answers that have been given before. And so there is no novelty in what AI creates. Where I think real estate professionals' true value will be, at least for the short and medium term, is providing the novel, unique insight that cannot be mapped to a corpus of data that exists somewhere in a database. So your value as a real estate agent, honestly, it hasn't been for a while, and it certainly won't be moving forward, in your ability to immediately recall the price per square foot stats on the Miracle Mile in Chicago. That data is data that or that answer is not an insight. It's just a database knowledge. Now, where your insight becomes novel and unique is, okay, but where is that $249 per square foot worth it versus where is it not worth it?
Yeah.
And that is a unique insight that AI cannot reflect. So agents need to be figuring out how they create this unique, novel value to their clients that isn't driven by your ability to recall statistics and what exists in the existing corpus. What do you think about that?
I I agree. And I think realtors could transform over time into more of a lifestyle sort of consultant. So the
Hmm.
realtor, knowing the hyperlocal community, is going to, because again, you're not going to need the realtor to find the home. You don't need the realtor today to find the home. You could just go to Zillow. Zillow's been around forever. You can find the property yourself. You don't need that. Uh, what are you going to pay a realtor to do? Well, you're not going to pay them for the price per square footage or data, because data is going to be instantly available to everybody. All the data in the world is going to be available for basically for free or for a small cost to a consumer. So that's not your value. The value is, then people say, well, the value is the relationship. Well, what does that mean? What do you mean the relationship? How do you monetize a relationship? Okay, I'm not saying that's not possible. I just have a hard time when people say it's all about relationships. That's wildly non-specific. I'm like, what is that?
Yeah.
What does it actually mean? What I think it means is, hey, I know you, me as an agent, I know you, client. You tell me the lifestyle you want. uh, how do you want to live? What do you want around you? How do you want your kids to grow up? How do you want to service your aging parents? I, as an agent, know the best way to do that. And
Mm.
that is going to be through experience. That's going to be,
Mhm.
hey, I'm on the streets. I live in these neighborhoods. I
Yeah.
know where you should be for your
Yeah.
goals of your life. And
Yeah.
I think that's where realtors are headed. It's not so
Mhm.
much where's the best priced home. It's going to be,
Mhm.
it's, or what's the best price home. It's going to be, specifically where, and that's all going to come from experience, I think.
Yeah. I'm going to push back on you and take your statement one step further. I think that middle of the road or even bottom of the market agents are going to take exactly literally that approach that you just laid out. I think the top performing parts of the market of the agent market, like the agents that are most successful, they are not going to say, tell me about what you want. They are going to identify this is who I help. This is what I specialize in. If you want to live an athletic lifestyle, if you want to have like a lifestyle based around the water, or based around your job, or based around public transportation, like whatever it is, agents who are going to absolutely be the accelerant in the market are going to niche down in a new way. We used to tell agents niche down in property type. Now we're telling them niche down in lifestyle. It is not going to be
100%.
just, oh, I'm the best person to help you buy your first condo. It's I'm the best person for young professionals who are new to the city and looking to create opportunity for themselves, and treat their first property in the city as a springboard to their second property. Like, niche down in terms of lifestyle and goals, niching down in terms of property. That is so 2016, man.
I wish in 2001, when I moved to Chicago, that I could have just gone to somebody and said, hey, where should I live? This is what I want to do. This is the kind of lifestyle I want to lead. Here's what my social life I think should look like. Here's what my physical life should look like. Here's what my financial life looks like. And, here's all the things I want to do. And I would have paid, I didn't have any money 25 years ago, but I would have paid the little money I had to have somebody say, oh, I totally understand you. You need to live in this neighborhood for the next year. And then from there on out, maybe you can go to this neighborhood or this neighborhood or this neighborhood. I want somebody to tell me, I understand you, and
Mhm.
I see what you want to do, and this is the place for you. Not this is the apartment or condo or home for you. This is the area that you can thrive in. And I
Totally.
think realtors are heading in that direction. I mean, I wanted that 25 years ago, and good realtors do that now.
Yeah.
And that's something that, again, I hope AI cannot solve for in the future, but we'll find out.
Yeah.
All right, Chris, I think this is a amazing place to wrap up. We have gone uh, hard and deep into your mind, and obviously our audience loves hearing your perspective. So tell us a little bit more about what's going on in your world. How can people
Yeah.
follow you?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, it's always a pleasure to be here, DJ. Thank you. Always happy to come back, chop it up, get ourselves in some hot water on some of these more controversial takes. If you want to follow along with what I'm doing, you can do that in a couple of places. You can go to Instagram. I'm at Ask Chris Linsell. You can follow me on LinkedIn. My name is Chris Linsell. Not many of us out there. I will tell you, I am not an English biology professor. So I'm the other Chris Linsell, not the guy who works at an English university in London. Um, if you want to follow along on another level, you can check me out at chrislinsell.com. I write mostly about the industry, my takes on technology, that sort of thing. And I have, like I said, like DJ said earlier, I'm the chief marketing officer of a real estate brokerage in Michigan called the Mitten Group. We are the most interesting, exciting, innovative place to hang a real estate license. We build a brokerage that agents actually want to work for, and we would love to talk to you about working here if you have dreams of coming to the Mitten State. Based in Traverse City, fluent in every shoreline. So come on up, happy to have you. And if you are out and about attending real estate events, you might see me, especially if you're in California. I have a wonderful partnership with the California Association of Realtors. I am a keynote speaker at their AI Now conference events. If you're up in Fresno, come see me next month. I'm super excited to be back in Northern California. And also working on some more speaking events, including continuing to work with the National Association of Realtors and the California Association of Realtors and the great folks at Inman. So Yeah, look for my name on speaking bills and come see me in person. Love to hang out, chop it up, get in arguments with people. Got in an argument with somebody on the plane the other day about a real estate thing, and you know what? It was one of the most productive conversations I had all week. So come challenge my unpopular opinions. Write DJ angry emails if you don't agree with what he says. I like hearing about that sort of thing.
Yeah, absolutely. We are so grateful to Chris for sharing his perspective, his point of view, and that is, we need more voices like Chris talking in this industry. So we are grateful. Chris has been with us for years and years and years, and we have
Yeah.
seen him go to the national stage. We've seen him go to the regional, local stage. He has very well formed thoughts and opinions, and we are super honored to have him on the show. Please do him the service of following him, and also on social media, of course. And if you need a speaker for anything related to where real estate technology is headed, I don't think there's a brighter mind out there than Chris Linsell. So please reach out to him. He has lots of great ideas, and we'll be happy to share them with you. So Chris, on behalf of the audience, we thank you. On behalf of Chris and myself, we thank the audience. As always, the best way to help us continue to grow, tell a friend. Think of one other agent that really needs to hear this. And again, Chris and I may be inaccurate with our predictions, but the future is now. We are experiencing big changes, and we want you to be part of the conversation. So please shoot this over to someone. Maybe Chris, one day you and I will do this live on air, and we can take other people's opinions as they come. I think that would be kind of fun. So one day we'll do that. But for now, just pass this over. Thank you. Support our sponsors, and we will see everybody on the next episode.
Thanks, DJ. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you soon.